On the distant world of Zentar, the air inside the Grand Council Hall grew tense as alarms echoed through its crystal corridors. Representatives of the highest alien species gathered around a vast holographic table, their shapes glowing in shades of blue, gold, and violet. Reports from border systems flickered above them, videos, scans, and broken transmissions, all containing the same terrifying subject: Species 37, the codename for humans. None of the council members understood how frail-looking creatures with soft skin and no natural weapons could be causing such widespread panic across the galaxy. As the holograms played, the council watched humans survive explosions that should have killed them, adapt to planets too harsh for other species, and fight enemies that outmatched them in size and strength. A deep unease spread through the room. How can something so biologically weak be so unstoppable? One council member whispered. No one had an answer. The only certainty was that humans did not behave like any species they had ever studied. They were unpredictable, fearless when they should be afraid, aggressive when they should retreat. By the end of the meeting, the council declared an emergency investigation. Species 37 must be understood, the High Elder announced, for if these creatures can survive the impossible, then they may become the greatest threat the galaxy has ever known. And with that, the legend of humanity, the galaxy's most terrifying warrior species, officially began. The first contact between the galactic community and a human did not happen in a grand diplomatic hall or during a peaceful exploration mission. It happened in the cold, empty darkness near a dying red star. The Ilarian scout vessel, Cora 7, detected what seemed to be a damaged ship drifting silently through space. Its metal hull was cracked, scorched, and leaking oxygen. Believing it belonged to a primitive species on the verge of extinction, the Ilarian crew approached without caution. They expected a weak, frightened being inside. They were wrong. When the Ilarians boarded the wreck, they found a lone human survivor. He was injured, dehydrated, and barely conscious, yet his eyes sharpened the moment he saw them. The Ilarians spoke calmly, trying to restrain him for medical treatment, but the human reacted with fierce instinct. Using nothing but a broken panel from the ship's interior, he fought with a speed and intensity that left the entire boarding team stunned. He wasn't scared, he wasn't confused, he was surviving. The Ilarians had trained for exploration, not combat. They had never seen anyone fight with such raw determination. The human used everything around him, pipes, wires, even parts of the floor, to defend himself. He didn't hesitate, he didn't freeze. For him, every second was a choice between life and death. The Ilarians quickly realized they had underestimated him. Their advanced tools and perfect coordination meant nothing against an opponent who refused to lose. Eventually, the Ilarians retreated back to their ship in shock. Their scans revealed the impossible. The human's heart rate and brain activity increased during danger instead of shutting down. Pain seemed to drive him, not weaken him. This creature should not be alive, their commander whispered. And yet, he is. They fled the system and sent an urgent report to the Galactic Council. The Council reviewed the footage with disbelief. A single wounded human had terrified an entire exploration crew. Their technology was superior, their numbers were greater. But none of that mattered. The human fought as if he had nothing left to lose and everything left to protect. It was the first warning sign the galaxy would receive, and many hoped it would be the last. Little did they know this was only the beginning, for in that moment the galaxy learned a dangerous truth. When a human decides to survive, nothing in the universe can stop them. The Galactic Council wasted no time launching a full investigation into the human mind. After the first encounter, fear spread across many star systems, and scientists from different species gathered to analyze everything they could find: videos, medical reports, emotional readings. Even ancient human broadcasts from old Earth, they expected to find a predictable pattern, something that explained human aggression. Instead, what they found only deepened their fear. Humans, unlike most species, did not retreat when injured. They did not shut down when scared. Their brains reacted differently. Danger made them stronger. The Council's lead psychologist, a crystal-bodied being known as Dr. Vailor, presented the first shocking discovery. Pain did not weaken humans, it motivated them. When a normal creature felt pain, its body focused on survival through escape. But humans? Their bodies released chemicals that boosted strength, sharpened focus, and increased determination. They become more dangerous the more you hurt them, Vailor said, trembling as he projected human brain scans. Pain is not a warning to them, it is fuel. Next came the study of fear. Most intelligent beings froze or fled in the presence of fear, but humans treated fear as a challenge. They trained themselves to face it, studied it, and even created entertainment around it, horror stories, extreme sports, survival competitions. The Council could not believe it. They willingly exposed themselves to terror, one member gasped. For pleasure? Humans had transformed fear into a tool, a skill, something they could control instead of avoid. Researchers then explored why humans fought so fiercely. It wasn't genetic superiority or advanced biology. It was something far more powerful, their mindset. Humans believed survival was a responsibility. They fought to protect family, friends, and even strangers. They fought because they refused to accept defeat. Every culture on Earth taught stories of heroes who rose after failure, warriors who fought impossible battles, ordinary people who did extraordinary things simply because they wouldn't give up. This idea terrified the Council more than any weapon. The final report was the most disturbing of all. It concluded that humans were not naturally violent, they were naturally adaptive. They learned, changed, and evolved through hardship. Trauma made them smarter, failure made them stronger. Every time the universe broke them, they rebuilt themselves even tougher. A species that turns suffering into power cannot be controlled, Vailor warned. They do not fear their limits. They seek them, and so the Council realized the truth. Humans did not dominate the battlefield because they were built for war. They dominated because they had mastered their own minds. They were the only species in the galaxy that looked into the abyss and stepped forward. When the Council turned its attention to humanity's past, they expected to find a timeline of gradual progress and peaceful evolution. Instead, they uncovered something far more disturbing, a history filled with wars so destructive they reshaped continents, conflicts so long they lasted generations, and victories so unlikely that no logical species could explain them. Humanity had nearly destroyed itself countless times, yet every time it rose stronger than before. The first shock came when the Council studied humanity's early eras. Civilizations had battled each other with primitive weapons, fighting for land, belief, or simple survival. Entire empires rose and fell through blood and fire. But what frightened the Council most was the pattern. Humans learned from every war. They developed new strategies, new technologies, and new forms of leadership. Their societies evolved because of conflict, not despite it. Where other species saw war as a tragedy, humans saw it as a test, a challenge to overcome. Then came the era of global wars. The Council watched the footage in silence, cities reduced to ash, skies blackened by smoke, and millions fighting with an intensity the galaxy had never witnessed. It should have been humanity's end. Any other species would have vanished, but humans emerged from the ruins more united, more determined, and more advanced. They turned their own destruction into a foundation for progress, A race that could survive self-inflicted extinction terrified the Council. The most unsettling part of human history was their relentless creativity during catastrophe. When food was scarce, humans built new farming methods. When disease struck, they created medicine. When the planet overheated, they invented technologies to stabilize climate. Every crisis pushed them forward. Every disaster sharpened their will. The Council realized that hardship didn't break humanity, it refined it. Their minds adapted faster than their bodies, evolving not through biology but through experience. The Council finally understood that humanity's strength wasn't just physical or technological, it was psychological. Humans developed a mindset of dominance and survival. They learned to control environments, reshape ecosystems, and command resources. They believed the universe existed to be explored, challenged, and mastered. They do not wait for opportunity, Valor reported. They seize it. They force the universe to bend to their will. By the end of their research, the chambers of Zentar fell into uneasy silence. The Council realized humanity's greatest danger was not their weapons, nor their numbers, it was their history. A species forged in conflict, sharpened by suffering, and empowered by the very challenges that would destroy others. And if their past was this powerful, the galaxy feared what their future might become. The war began with confidence, but not human confidence. The Galactic Alliance, a coalition of 30 advanced species, believed their fleets were unstoppable. They possessed weapons that could slice asteroids in half, shields that bent starlight, and armies trained through centuries of peace. To them, humanity was a primitive race with limited technology and small numbers. They expected a short conflict, a simple containment mission. But they forgot one thing. Humans didn't follow the rules of war, they rewrote them. The first battle shattered every prediction. Alliance fleets moved in perfect formation, their ships aligned in mathematical precision. Humans responded with chaos. They broke formation, split into unpredictable groups, and attacked from angles no AI had calculated. They used asteroid fields as shields, debris as weapons, and even disabled ships as explosive traps. The Alliance couldn't understand it. Their strategies failed not because humans were stronger, but because they were unpredictable. Humans fought like storms, wild, violent, impossible to control. When human ground forces finally engaged, the shock only grew. Instead of retreating in the face of superior firepower, humans pushed forward with almost reckless determination. Injured soldiers refused to fall back. Engineers turned scraps of metal into improvised weapons. Pilots flew damaged ships with terrifying precision, fueled by adrenaline and stubborn defiance. "They don't retreat," one alien commander whispered. "They only advance or die." It was the first time the Alliance saw what it meant to fight a species that would rather fall than surrender. The Alliance attempted to predict human behavior using their most advanced AI. It failed. Humans were emotional, irrational, and driven by instinct, traits the AI could not compute. One moment, humans fought with perfect discipline. The next, they switched to unplanned raids or suicidal charges. They ignored logic in favor of opportunity. They embraced chaos and turned it into strategy. The war analysts of the Alliance labeled this terrifying method controlled chaos, or as humans called it, improvisation. As the conflict intensified, human civilians joined the effort. Colonists built traps on their own worlds. Families moved supplies, repaired ships, and even fought beside soldiers when necessary. Entire planets became fortresses powered by sheer will. The Alliance watched in disbelief as humanity united in ways no other species could. They fought not just for victory, but for existence. That kind of motivation made them unstoppable. By the fourth cycle of war, the Alliance's confidence had vanished. Their perfect formations were shattered. Their logic-based strategies were useless, their morale collapsed. Declaring total victory over humans became impossible, not because humans were unbeatable physically, but because they refused to think like any species in the galaxy. Humans turned fear into strength, pain into determination, and chaos into a weapon. And for the first time in the history of the Alliance, the galaxy realized they were fighting not an enemy, but a force of nature. After years of unpredictable battles and countless failed strategies, the Galactic Alliance reached a point they had never imagined: defeat not by force, but by fear. Human fleets were smaller, weaker, and technologically inferior, yet every attempt to crush them only made humanity more determined. Some alien leaders realized a terrifying truth: continuing the war would only end with their total collapse. So instead of fighting, a few brave civilizations approached humanity with something the Alliance never considered: negotiation. The first delegation arrived on a neutral moon, expecting humans to demand the surrender of entire star systems. Instead, they found human leaders calm, collected, and surprisingly open to discussion. Humans did not seek to dominate the galaxy through destruction. They sought stability, security, and a future where their species would never again be threatened. But the aliens quickly understood that negotiating with humans was no simple task. Humans used logic, emotion, intuition, and unpredictability all at once. Every answer felt like a test, every silence a warning. During the talks, the aliens discovered something even more unsettling than human strength: human ambition. Humans didn't want tribute or resources, they wanted cooperation, but on their terms. They offered protection in exchange for loyalty, guidance in exchange for obedience, and unity in exchange for trust. It was not a treaty of peace, it was the foundation of influence, and strangely, many species found themselves accepting it willingly. Some civilizations joined the human alliance out of respect, admiring humanity's resilience. Others joined out of pure fear, terrified of what humanity might become if left unchecked. Yet all of them recognized one undeniable fact: humans were a species that would shape the future of the galaxy, whether others liked it or not. Standing against them meant chaos, standing with them meant survival. So the galaxy chose survival. Soon, entire star systems aligned themselves with humanity. Not because they were conquered, but because they believed resisting humans was hopeless. Humans had proven themselves to be the most determined warriors in known space, creatures who could survive anything, adapt to everything, and fight with a spirit no logic could predict. Accepting human leadership was not submission, it was self-preservation. And so the war ended not with humanity bowing to a superior force, but with the galaxy bending quietly, willingly, toward the species it feared the most. Humans didn't force the galaxy into submission. The galaxy submitted because it knew what humans were capable of. In the end, peace was established not through treaties of equality, but through a silent agreement whispered across the stars: it is safer to stand behind the humans than against them. When the final reports were submitted to the Galactic High Council, a unanimous decision was made for the first time in centuries. It became clear that humanity was not the most advanced species in the galaxy. Many races had stronger technology, faster ships, or more powerful weapons. But none possessed what humans carried within their minds: the will to survive at any cost. Humans were unpredictable, strategic, and emotionally driven in ways no other species could match. Their strength was not in metal, it was in mentality. The Council declared humanity the most dangerous tactical species ever encountered, not because they conquered planets with superior firepower, but because they could turn defeat into opportunity, pain into determination, and chaos into victory. Entire civilizations had witnessed it firsthand. Humans fought with heart, not algorithms. They adapted, improvised, and pushed forward even when logic said they should fall. And that made them the most feared species in the galaxy, not the strongest, but the one no one dared provoke. To ensure future generations never forgot this truth, the Council engraved a single, chilling sentence on the grand wall of their chamber. It was written in every language known across the stars, "Beware the human, for they do not fear, they create fear." And as those words echoed through the cosmos, one reality became undeniable. Humanity had become the galaxy's most terrifying legend.